New numbers coming out this morning could further intensify trade tensions between the United States and China. China's trade surplus narrowed in the month of May on strong imports, but the gap with the United States actually widened. Joining us right now is the Wall Street Journal's global economics editor, John Hilsenrath. John, good to see you this morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Maria. Great to be here.
A bit of a mixed bag on the China issue. Not so good on the trade numbers, but then there's ZTE. Be back in business after striking a deal with the Commerce Department. What do you think about this deal with ZTE, John?
Well, you know, I think we haven't heard the end of this story. The attention now turns to what's going on in Congress. Lawmakers are trying to overturn it, and they're also asking questions about other Chinese suppliers here. You know, we have a story today about lawmakers pressing Google on its relationship with Huawei, a big Chinese computer supplier. So, you know, I think we haven't heard the end of this story.
Well, there's a lot of debate about this ZTE issue, obviously, Dagan. What's your take on this new agreement to let ZTE once again operate?
The United States better get something good for keeping this company.
Yeah, what does the U.S. get?
Right, and I think it remains to be seen, but we're keeping this alive. This is a third chance the United States is giving ZTE because, again, when it was found out that it was essentially selling U.S. technology to sanctioned nations, including North Korea and Iran, there was an initial set of penalties, and ZTE was supposed to punish its employees, and in fact, we caught the Chinese government owns this company. We caught the company lying about it and actually giving bonuses to those employees who were behind those deals with North Korea and Iran, to name a couple of the nations. So we're giving them a lifeline.
Yeah.
Again, there is $1 billion fine, though, right?
Yeah,
$1 billion fine on top of it.
On top, but so what? It's the Chinese government. This is a company that is essentially behind espionage. It is effectively banned from getting U.S. Government contracts.
Yeah. Let me just say it again, because we've said it a million times on this program over the last couple of weeks. China buying more stuff does nothing to address the big and important issues that the economy here faces, and that is the theft of intellectual property and the forced transfer of technology. Those are the issues that business cares about and that the economy cares about here in the U.S. I don't care how much more agricultural products China buys.
You bring up the best point. Can you fight intellectual theft with tariffs? It doesn't. It seems like apples and oranges.
Well, he's using it as a tool. Right? Larry Kudlow called it a tool, and that's fine to use tariffs as a tool. But at the end of the day, China's not even admitting to the theft of the IP. So how do you change something that they won't even admit they're doing?
Well, and also there's the national security implication. I think whenever I say China, I always say communist China. I think it's important we remember that they are a trading partner, but they're also a geopolitical adversary.
Well, President Xi is the dictator for life.
Right.
That's right. He's got the job for the rest of his life.
Yeah, John, what's the U.S. getting for keeping this Chinese government-owned company in business?
Well, you know, what the Trump administration is trying to separate the whole ZTE thing from the negotiations that are going on over, as you say, intellectual property theft and overproduction of steel and aluminum and tariffs. They're saying they're two separate issues. You know, the president had a one-on-one conversation with the President Xi of China and agreed to give the company another chance. You know, the one other thing I'd say is, you know, in addition to this $1 billion fine, we're putting monitors in their companies. So they're saying, you know, we're saying that we have a better handle on what they're doing, and that it isn't directly related to the trade imbalances that the President Trump is trying to address.
Does it matter that we're going to be monitoring and we're going to be overseeing the people who are actually on the board of ZTE? That's something we're getting. So let's talk about that.
They've lied to the U.S. before, and again, is it somebody who's an American who works within the Commerce Department?
No,
and what kind of
probably not.
How closely will we be able to supervise this company? Because the ownership structure of it is very convoluted and complicated. And again, I keep hitting this. You have talked to Devin Nunes of the House Intelligence Committee on so many issues.
Yeah.
but this is one of the companies, including Huawei, which Facebook is doing business with, that is under investigation because of worries the equipment is used to spy on or sabotage U.S. networks.
Is it possible?
There you go.
Is it possible that this ZTE issue is part of the deal that we don't know about? Wait a minute.
It better be.
But
there's no other reason.
But is it part of not just trade, but is it playing into North Korea? Is there something that China's doing on that in exchange for this? Is that possible?
Here's the bigger problem, though, is that even if we sat in on all their executive meetings at ZTE, it's only a finger in the dike. What about all the other companies?
Real quick, I got to get your take on Nancy Pelosi. House Minority Leader John, Nancy Pelosi is back at attacking President Trump on the economy. Listen to this.
Unless we have an increase, a very significant increase in wages and bigger paychecks, we were going to increase the frustration of America's families because they'll be saying, hip, hip, hooray, unemployment is down. What does that mean to me in my life? So this isn't just about the unemployment rate. It's about wages rising in our country so that consumer confidence is restored, because our economy will never fully reach its possibilities unless we increase the consumer confidence.
John, hip, hip, hooray. Consumer confidence is at an 18-year high right now, John. Does she not know that?
Yeah, and the unemployment rate at 3.8% is down at its lowest level. We haven't seen unemployment rates this low since the height of the tech boom, and then back to the late 1960s. So the economy is in pretty good shape right now. It's pretty hard to argue against that. We're probably growing at close to 4% in the second quarter after a soft first quarter. And just yesterday, the Fed released a report showing that the wealth of American households, I think this is an astonishing number that people need to hear. $100 trillion of net worth in American households. That's the value of all their stock and real estate portfolios minus the value of the debt that they hold. This is a wealthy nation, and it's doing pretty well right now.
That's incredible.
She makes my head hurt.
Does she not know these numbers?
If I will say this with clenched teeth, so I don't use an expletive, if you care about putting money in people's pockets and their paychecks going up, then you would have signed on to the tax cuts.
Well, the interesting
Not
thing,
one Democrat voted yes for the tax cuts.
Yeah,
They have to explain that in November.
She's real.
Well, she even got the wages wrong. The wages actually have been rising.
That's exactly right.
I don't even understand
wages
the wages
are also
wrong.
up enough. Totally.
So maybe she doesn't actually know the numbers. She's just talking politics.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
She didn't
Well,
actually
she's a
look
politician. That's what they do. They all talk politics. They all spin the numbers.
It's true. John, good to see you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, John.